Good morning everybody, happy Sunday. I hope you're all doing really well. I have a really juicy, exciting video to bring you today, and we're going to be talking about things you wish you knew before you set up your small business. So I popped a poll on my Instagram out to all my small business owners asking what they wish they knew before they set up their business. This is something I really wish I could have watched before I started my self-employed journey and owning my own small business, because I had no idea what I was doing. It was a complete minefield and I still don't really know what I'm doing half of the time. So I think it's really important to share these tips and these things that have come up for people since setting up their own business. I'm going to talk about some of the things that I popped down first, and then I will also talk about some things that other people have shared. I'm just going to briefly go over all these because there was quite a few. So the first one was your connection will be 100% better with clients. I completely agree with this. Your connection is so much better than when you're in a big commercial salon or store or whatever you're doing, and when you're working for someone else. People rely on you, they want to make that connection with you, and they like that connection with you because they want to trust you, especially if you're working with animals. They want to feel that they can trust you and rely on you for something they really care for. Okay, so the next bit is you do not take home what you charge, and I try and tell so many smaller groomers that this is not the case when they're undercharging themselves. Say you're charging £30, say, for a groom, which is too cheap. 20% of that's going to come out for your tax, so you're not earning £30 at all, and then like another 30% plus is going to go back into your business. So your average earning is probably less than minimum wage at the end of the day. So if someone is complaining about your prices, firstly, they do not respect you, and secondly, they don't know your background, they don't know what you're paying for, and they don't know how many hours you need to work or what you need to earn to get into that place. So yeah, it's super important that you are aware what you charge. If you're charging £50 for a dog, you are not taking that £50 home. You're only going to be taking a small percentage of that home for yourself, which is something that I found very shocking when I started. I was like, oh, I don't actually earn that at all. So when I was charging £20 for a bath, I was probably earning like £8 from it, which is ridiculous. Okay, so the next one was, this is to do with grooming, how difficult it is to set up your own business, how difficult it is to groom, and it's too glamorized. A lot to think about what we aren't prepared for. Okay, so this is really important, especially in grooming. So grooming isn't regulated. Anyone can be a dog groomer. My brother tomorrow could just set up and say that he's a dog groomer if he really wanted to, because it's not regulated, which is really quite scary because you're using scissors and clippers around a live animal. Also, I do think you're not prepared for half of the things that come up in the grooming salon. A lot of groomers won't get taught behaviour or learn behaviour, which I personally think needs to be the number one thing you learn before you start grooming. If you understand dog behaviour, your grooming sessions are going to go a lot better, and you're going to be able to pick up on signals and possibly help owners afterwards once they understand those. Once they understand that their dog is giving signals that it may be stressed or uncomfortable. It is very glamorised. It's a very glamorised job, which isn't always right, because it is lovely, and don't get me wrong, I love styling. I absolutely love styling if the dog is comfortable, and if the dog isn't, the groom isn't going to be as beautiful as some of these dogs that you see, and that is really quite hard to deal with. I think as a new groomer, you need to really respect yourself and understand that this is a really tough job, and it's not, at the end of the day, it's not about the aesthetic. It's about making that dog comfortable and calm and feeling positive in your environment, and that is all you can do at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if it's going home with a bit zipped out here, a bit zipped out there. That hair's going to grow back. It's so important that we're focusing on the overall experience over the aesthetic. But I do think there's going to be a change in the industry, and I think especially new groomers are seeing this and seeing there's a need for it, which I think is really exciting. Okay, so yeah, this is really important. Some people won't want to use your service, and it is not personal at all. And this is so hard to understand, especially if you are like a people pleaser or you are an empath and you really like take on other people's energy, which is something that I do. Not everyone's gonna like you. They might not like you because your personality isn't right for them. Also, they may not like your setup. They may not like how much you're charging. They may not be able to get to you because of location. It is nothing to do with you personally. They have other things going on in their life that you have no idea are gonna affect the decision whether they come to you or not, and that's absolutely okay. I get a lot of dogs with long fluffy coats because that's what I enjoy doing. I don't necessarily get a lot of dogs that want to be clipped off naked because that's not something that I kind of show, and a lot of people know that that's not something I necessarily advertise, which is okay. And yeah, some people may not be able to afford you, or some people may think you're too cheap. Some people don't want to go to places that are charging a cheaper price because they don't think the quality is as good. And these are not personal things, and that is something that is a really big learning curve when you first set up. Nothing is personal, nothing is about you. You have no idea what's going on in someone else's life, and I think that's really important to try and understand. Okay, so the next one's about work that's not work, if that makes sense. So someone's written there's so much admin behind the scenes that you don't consider, and I think that is so true. I think when I quit, I was like, oh yeah, I can just like groom 4 dogs in a day and then I just finish. And that is just not the case. Like I constantly have messages all of the time. Like just when I think that I've answered like 15 questions or 15 messages, I get another 15, and it's just constant. The work never ever stops. Also, you need to work out your tax. You need to work out where your bills are going in and out, how much you need to put aside for your business, where you can invest better next time, what products are better, what's new on the market. There's just so much that you need to consider. That's not just the job that you're physically doing. Yeah, I do think there's a lot more than what you realise that goes into running a business, but it is a great experience, and I feel like if I was ever employed again, I would respect the business so much more, because now I run my own and I realise how much work it is. Sometimes it will feel like you're always working even when you're at home. Lol. Yeah, I really think this is true. It's really hard to switch off when you have your own business. People message you at like midnight, people were messaging me on Christmas Day. Something that I need to start doing is, sorry, my phone's going because people are messaging me, is get a work phone, because it's really hard to have that separation when I have all of my work on my phone. So even if I'm not responding to a message because it's the weekend, I can still see the notification there, and then I just can't relax. I get like a super tight chest and I have to do this all the time because I start getting anxious about it. So yeah, it is really hard, and you are working all of the time. Like I will do a day's work, sometimes I'm working like 10 hours, and then I get home, I don't necessarily want to do all my admin, so then I have to have a day off to do admin. And then I still end up doing admin on like a Saturday or Sunday because it's on my mind and it's making me stressed. So it's very hard to have that separation. And I think when you start creating boundaries, and the first year your boundaries will probably be rubbish, which mine were, and I'm still only in my first year and I'm still only just learning, but once you can create and set boundaries, things will get a lot easier, which is what I'm working on, and hopefully I can help other small businesses work on as well. How difficult and time consuming admin sides of things are, even working out time slots. Yeah, that is, time slots is really, really difficult, because sometimes you'll allocate say 2 hours for a dog and it'll come in matted, and then you end up having it for 3 hours, and then you have to push all of your dogs back, and it just makes stuff really, really stressful, because sometimes people can't be pushed back or they can't do the day that you suggested, and it just completely throws you off track. If you're anything like me, I go by timings, so my day is scheduled into time slots, and when that's knocked off, it throws my whole day off and I get really stressed and I find the rest of the day really, really difficult. Oh, someone's put here, you need to make time for yourself, make sure you put it in your diary because you'll need it. Oh, that makes my heart really melt. But I think that's true, and it's something that I need to start doing. I want to try and do like a no phone day where I just don't have any work related stuff. So yeah, I think scheduling me time, just even an hour. I've started working out at the gym and I feel like that's really made me feel a lot better every day. Just an hour to do something that you really love. I'm kind of pep talking myself here. Definitely need a lot of time and a lot of self-care when you work for yourself. You need to take breaks to be able to provide the best service you can, and that is hard when you've got to pay bills. Can't share that one because that's too rude, from Aegis in Wales. Okay, I'm going to end on the last one, which is how much grooming equipment costs. And ooh, I might actually do a breakdown, like a video breakdown of this, because I think this is not talked about ever. Yeah, it's really, really expensive to own grooming products. My shampoo alone's, one bottle of shampoo is about £50. One blade is £50, and you may have to get them replaced like shampoo I need every month, so I'm probably spending around £150 a month just on shampoo, and that's without any of my business bills going out as well, so like electric, water, insurance, my online diary. Like there is a lot that you need to pay out for to actually just run the business. I think when I first set up, I was like, oh cool, I'm making like this much more than what I did employed. But when I took away all my business bills and my tax, I was making exactly the same as when I'm employed, which I still currently am. Obviously you just have your freedom like with when you work and who you work with and what you book in. I hope that this has been helpful. Please subscribe if you've enjoyed this video, pop any questions below or head over to my Instagram and just message me on there because I chat to quite a few groomies. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. I hope that you have liked this and I will see you guys very, very soon.